compensation that was visited upon them. I think that's a fantastic outcome, and you'll see some of those in our show.
Risking it all to do what's right. Alex Ferrer on the Weekend Roundup from New York. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks for having me.
You can catch Whistleblowers 8 o'clock Eastern on Friday nights on CBS TV or stream it anytime on CBS All Access.
It's going to be huge.
The last 2 Blockbuster stores in Alaska are closing. The video rental company has basically shut down in most of the U.S., but lasted a little longer in Alaska because the internet is so expensive there. And folks still rented videos. The last store in the U.S. is now in Bend, Oregon, where the general manager says there are no signs to close it anytime soon.
Laura Modesto reporting. Finally this weekend, Stormy Daniels is making headlines again, and it's not for her lawsuit against the president. She was arrested Wednesday at a strip club in Ohio where she was performing before charges were dismissed.
Less than a day after police in Columbus, Ohio took Stormy Daniels to jail in handcuffs, she is a free woman. Her lawyer, Michael Avenatti, tweeted Thursday, "I am pleased to report that the charges against my client have been dismissed in their entirety." The adult film star was performing at a local strip club when she was arrested. She was charged with 3 misdemeanors. According to the original complaint, she touched patrons in the club. It is illegal in Ohio for nude or semi-nude dancers to touch non-family members. Clifford's attorney Michael Avenatti says it was a setup. Columbus police say they made 3 arrests at the club overnight as part of a long-term investigation into allegations of human trafficking and prostitution. The police chief says arresting Daniels was a mistake and she takes full responsibility. Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, is suing President Trump and his former lawyer Michael Cohen. She claims she had a sexual relationship with the billionaire businessman in 2006. Paid to keep quiet about it in the days leading up to the 2016 election. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
That does it for the Weekend Roundup. Thanks for listening. The show is always online on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. We want to get your feedback. Drop us a line at weekendroundup@cbsnews.com and let us know where and how you're listening. The Weekend Roundup is produced at the CBS News Washington Bureau. Lou Walker is the technical supervisor. Jake Rosen is the intern. Have a good week. I'm Steve Dorsey, CBS News.
The only radio news app for breaking news. CBS News Radio.
The soccer players rescued from a cave in Thailand are telling family members that they only intended to be inside for 1 hour. A sudden flood left them stranded for more than 2 weeks. The father of the youngest boy spoke with Anna Warner. She's in Chiang Rai, Thailand. What is it like to see your son for the first time in 18 days? Days you spent wondering whether you would ever see him alive again. We spoke with the father of the youngest boy to be rescued from the cave, 11-year-old Titan, and asked him just that.
I felt relief. I was so happy, Tanavut told us, about the moment he learned his 11-year-old son Titan would be rescued from the cave. The boy was the youngest of the 12 soccer players trapped for more than 2 weeks. And little Titan emerged with big stories to tell. Titan told his father the boys were forced to run deep into the cave they were exploring when fast-moving water started flowing in. He says the boys' soccer coach named Egg tried to swim to find a way out for them, but the water was so fast and so deep he turned back around. Titan told his father the first 3 days in the cave were the hardest. The group was hungry and cold. The boys had trouble sleeping, and Titan cried because he missed his mom and dad. Coach Egg, however, encouraged him to be strong, Tanavut told us. How do you feel about what the coach did for your son? I am touched, he said. If the kids didn't have Coach Eck, I don't know how they could have survived.
This is completely uncharted, unprecedented territory.
Back in London Friday morning, British divers involved in the rescue said nothing like this has ever been done before.
There was a lot of chaos, but we were so task-orientated and focused that we sort of blacked that out and carried on job in hand, step by step, until we achieved success.
And Tanavut says for that, he is thankful. I feel so grateful, he said, and thankful to all Thai people and everybody who sent their love and support.
Tanavut told us Titan is doing well. He says the first thing his son asked upon getting out of the cave was where was his coach and how was he doing. Thai health officials tell us all the kids are doing well now, mentally and physically.
When you need to know, turn to CBS News Radio.
Augmented reality has been the hot new thing for years without becoming very hot. Now it's finally arriving through advertising. I'm Jeff Coleman of Fortune Magazine with Inside Business. Get ready to try on a pair of digital sunglasses as you're scrolling through Facebook's newsfeed. The company said recently that it's testing augmented reality ads with advertisers including Michael Kors, Sephora, Pottery Barn, and Wayfair. Michael Kors was the first to test an AR ad which lets users digitally try on sunglasses. Click on the ad, which prompts your phone's camera to switch on to capture your face. Then you pick from a small assortment of sunglasses in various colors, and the technology puts them on your face in a realistic way. There hasn't been a blockbuster augmented reality app since the Pokemon Go mania of 2 years ago, but several tech companies, including Apple and Google, are still big believers that the technology will eventually catch on with consumers. Facebook's strategy for popularizing it is to pitch it to companies as a more compelling way for them to advertise. Last year, the company introduced a set of software tools to make it easier for people to create AR apps within Facebook. Augmented reality probably will click with a mass audience eventually, but it takes time for the technology to catch up with what the visionaries can foresee. For much more business news and insight, stop by Fortune.com. Inside Business, I'm Jeff Colvin for CBS News.
The FIFA World Cup on Fox may be happening halfway around the world, but you're connected to it. It's in your DNA. Perhaps you've heard of the brilliance of Ronaldo.
Ronaldo, magnificent!
What if part of your DNA originated in Portugal? Or maybe your DNA originated in Argentina? Messi's national hero. So this summer, root for your roots. Watch the FIFA World Cup on Fox. And let Fox broadcast sponsor 23andMe help you find your connections to the world.
No matter what it is, measure it. This is Soundbites, and I'm Jan Ziff. A ruler, a yardstick, a tape measure, they all come in handy. But who can carry all that? You can, and a whole lot more with Google Measure for Android. Inches or yards, centimeters or meters, Measure takes the measure of anything you need to measure. Length, height, width, depth, the size of a table, the size of a chair, the size of a room, the size of you. Just scan with the Measure app and you'll know where you stand. You can toggle between imperial units and the metric system, and you can save photos of your measurements to ensure that you've got them when you need to consult them later. The light sensors inside your phone's camera do the job. All you need is the app and something to measure. You never know when you'll need to know. Be ready with Measure at Google Play. With Soundbites, I'm Jan Ziff for CBS News.
We're the breaking news network you can take anywhere. CBS News Radio.
On the CBS News Weekend Roundup, I'm Steve Dorsey. A new report finds FEMA fell short in responding to Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. CBS News correspondent Peter King has more from Orlando. The wait for help seemed almost infinite.
My mother needs dialysis. We've been here 26 hours. We are having a humanitarian crisis.
A crisis FEMA says it wasn't prepared to handle. The agency says it underestimated the poor shape of the power grid before the storm and how hard it would be to restore electricity and communications to the island afterwards. It also had little idea of how much food and water would be needed and how hard it would be to get it there. FEMA says its Puerto Rico warehouse was almost empty because of the response to Hurricane Irma just days earlier. Homeland Security Chief Kirsten Nielsen says lessons learned will help prepare for the next disaster. Peter King, CBS News. New research casts doubt on the benefits of multivitamin supplements. Here's correspondent Kenneth Craig.
1 in 3 Americans take multivitamins and minerals, spending an estimated $21 billion on supplements every year. But a new analysis suggests when it comes to heart health, multivitamins and minerals are not worth it. Research published in an American Heart Association journal looked at 18 previous studies on multivitamins that tracked more than 2 million people for an average of 12 years. They found multivitamins do not prevent heart attacks, strokes, or cardiovascular death.
Americans taking these supplements, presumably because they're concerned about their health, would be better served by spending their money on good nutrition in the form of a healthy diet.
Researchers say the best multivitamins and minerals come from the protosile. Fruits and vegetables already have a proven track record of lowering the risk of heart disease and stroke. Supplements are also not FDA approved for safety or effectiveness.
People shouldn't be under the misconception that just because you can get these over the counter that they're safe. Each year, it's estimated that 23,000 individuals are seen in emergency departments across the country due to adverse effects from different supplements.
But the Council on Responsible Nutrition, a supplement trade group, says multivitamins fill nutrient gaps in our less than perfect diets and are not intended to serve as magic bullets. The group points out multivitamins help low-income Americans combat insufficient nutrient levels for less than a dime a day. Kenneth Gregg, CBS News, New York.
Researchers are making new discoveries at Pompeii in Italy some 2,000 years after it was buried in ash from Mount Vesuvius.
The sound of tools, not tourists, that filled this part of Pompeii. The most ambitious excavation project in a generation is taking place.
Has the world seen any of this yet? No.
Each new discovery, including the richly decorated House of Dolphins, has revived this ancient Italian city. Massimo Ossana calls it Pompeii's second life.
This month started a new life for Pompeii with the new inhabitants. With a habitat where workers
Ossana's field team of more than 50 are focusing efforts on a part of this Roman resort town that had remained buried until less than a year ago. Francesco Muscolino is one of the archaeologists.
This is a political post, yes.
Just down the newly excavated street, they're cleaning another campaign sign painted just before the eruption in 79 AD. Remarkable for its still vibrant paint.
You don't find something like this anywhere else.
1/3 of Pompeii is still covered. They continue digging out tons of tunnels, called laterally in Italian, that cover this town in places from about 10 to 20 feet high, sealing it off for nearly 1,500 years.
Here you can get a sense for how this was all buried.
Yes, because the material will cover Pompeii for meters.
In May, Ossana's team announced that find, which gained international attention, initially thought to be an unlucky man killed by a giant rock as he fled Vesuvius's eruption.
It was so clear that it was a skeleton without a hand, a block in the place where we expected the head, and it was not there.
So they kept digging. They eventually found the skull in a tunnel that had been opened during a previous excavation, and it turned out the man had been asphyxiated. The tunnel where the intact skull was found also revealed the sometimes sloppy work of previous generations. Back then, they'd often bore through walls looking for precious items. Today's process is much slower and more methodical.
Water spout.
Wow. Even sifting through what had been discarded in previous excavations.
You're still learning as you're going along.
Yeah, of course. This is really an experimentation. There is no manual that's to tell you how to approach so many complex problems.
They're using hammers that record wave velocity to detect how the ancient wall. And they demonstrated the laser scanners and drones they use to record what they find and where they find it, so it can be passed down to future generations of archaeologists.
The timeline is not certain, but it is likely the newly excavated part of Pompeii will not be open to tourists until at least sometime next year. And it will take generations for archaeologists to truly understand what was buried here 2 millennia ago. Seth Doan, CBS News, Pompeii.
Starbucks is joining the movement to ditch plastic straws. More from CBS News correspondent Chris Martinez.
Helene Himmelstein starts her mornings with the same routine.
Venti sugar-free vanilla soy latte.
Along with a cup of iced water with a straw. That'll soon change as Starbucks promises to eliminate plastic straws from more than its 28,000 locations around the globe.
It's good for the environment, so I'm all for that.
Instead of the familiar green plastic, the coffee company plans to roll out alternatives, including strawless lids.
It's going to be huge.
Aha,